Hello everyone, I am Song W. Erickson, artist, pinup artist, mermaid queen, barbarian lover, comic fan. It's very hot, and I'm mad. And this is actually my 7th take trying to record this, and the 6th was going great until my camera stopped working. I'm so mad. I was actually mid-rant when the video went out. So, and I was like 6 minutes in, and I was already ranting. Because, this comic is so bad. It's... So, in case you missed it, Belit number 4 by Tinny Howard. Art by Kate Niamzik. Also Scott Hanna coming in because Kate Niamzik can't seem to keep up with her schedule. I'm so mad. I've been thinking about this comic for almost 24 hours, and you know what? I was looking forward to it. For the past week or two, I've been like, oh hey, the new Belit comes out. And I've been wanting to read it, because like I said in my last video, the series has grown on me. It's not a Belit series, not by any stretch of the imagination. And I mean, Tinny Howard was, at least she was honest about that, saying, oh yeah, no, she's writing a character she rolled in D&D. I've talked about this. She said it in interviews. I assume it's D&D. She said a character she rolled. And okay, I'm gonna have issues with that alone. If you're trying to sell me your character as Belit, I'm gonna take issue with that. But you know what? I enjoyed the story. Until now. I'm about to use a whole lot of words. But to be honest, I don't have words for how bad this is. I'm stunned, honestly. How do you have such a profound disrespect for your own story? Tinny Howard has a job that so many people would love to have in writing comics. In writing, there are so many people who want to be writers, and how do you disrespect that so badly? How do you... Oh my gosh. It's so hot today, and my anchor is not helping. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna start at the cover. I made notes. This will probably be a long video. The cover, I like Senna Takeda's art. I know it's messy, and Justin Wisniewski has picked it apart. Go watch his videos reviewing the art from the first 3 issues. Those are really good. I'll link him down below. While you're down there, if you could like this video, subscribe, and let me know what you think. Okay, so with the cover, I like Senna Takeda's art. I'm just curious, the first issue, the cover very much looked like Belit as Conan would have seen her in Queen of the Black Coast. Pale skin, dark hair, dressed only in gold. To my mother's horror when I brought it home. And that was Belit. But ever since, I guess the editors were like, oh, Takeda-san! No, you can't draw sexy women on the cover. This is not allowed. No. So, it's this weird, anachronistic fusion of a Renaissance pirate captain with a Renaissance pirate wench. I like the outfit. It's cool. I'm definitely going to keep it around as inspiration if I ever draw a Renaissance-era pirate. But for Belit, white silk. Am I really asking that much? Really? So, I'm going to read you some of this dialogue so you can suffer with me. Okay? Okay, so let me refresh. Issue 3, Belit killed Prisca and Saturninus. Can we go back to when Prisca was dueling Belit for Saturninus' honor? That was at least funny. It is sad you have to laugh to keep from crying away, but it was funny. So, Belit kills them. Never mind that they're both like twice her size. And Prisca was... yeah. Prisca's design. So... and then she's crying over this despite 4 years of them butting heads over who gets to run the ship, basically. And she's mourning and having a mental breakdown because, oh, my friends died! They weren't your friends, honey. So anyway, last page of issue 3, we saw Niaga in the woods near where the ship is docked, and he hears Belit crying, and he takes down his hood, and he's like, oh, Belit, I know that sound from, I heard it when I served your father. I told you it was going to be when her mother died, right? But anyway, so Niaga showed up. He hasn't seen Belit in 4 years. Cliffhanger of issue 3. We now open with a flashback of Atrahasis, who's Belit's father. Atrahasis, okay. Atrahasis, Belit's father, and Niaga, just after Belit is born. Okay? And Niaga says, I am going to make you suffer with me. I had to endure this. You are coming along for the ride. Please don't click off. Please don't leave me to do this alone. A toast to dread Admiral Atrahasis, Lord of the Churning Seas, and proud Papa. Okay. My dearest friend, Niaga, promise me you'll look after her if anything happens to me. Okay, that's sudden. Very sudden, but okay. Ah, don't joke, you hale and hearty old man. Sea air and rum have pickled you into good health, surely. I'm not kidding. This is when I stopped and went, what? Because here's the thing, if you follow me on social media, you may have seen recently, I mentioned, I was working on getting back into writing, and I want to do some short stories, kind of tying into the drawings I do with the barbarian characters. And I'm sorry, I'm just so stunned at how bad this is, and the heat is melting me, and my brain, and my hair. My hair was so nice when I did it this morning. Now it's all wilted, because I had to go out in the heat. In case you think I'm kidding, no, it literally says, I'm not kidding. So what has what, aside from my crippling insecurity that always makes me think I'm not good enough, what's held me back in writing these stories is I'm sitting there going, can I write this dialogue? Can I write a dialogue that won't sound too modern? Because in my mind, that very much, it breaks immersion. It breaks everything. You've killed your story the moment you say, I'm not kidding. I'm so mad. I waited a month for this issue, and this is what I get? I have bought every issue on pull list. You're gonna make me say words I don't want to say, because this is flipping bad. Okay, so in the last issue, I think I mentioned there was a throwaway line in the poetry narration whatever that mentioned madness. And I was a little like, huh? Then I get to this issue and I realize it's really bad foreshadowing. You cannot just throw in the word mad. Oh my gosh, it's I really hope Tinny Howard isn't one of those people complaining about season 8 of Game of Thrones and the whole, oh no, they made Daenerys mad. If you're complaining that there wasn't enough foreshadowing for Daenerys going mad, I'd love to know what you think of the kettle, okay? Because you're the pot calling it black. However, I'm not sure why I'm allowing this moment of generosity. Now, where is it? In the Song of Belit, the poem that opened each chapter of the original novella, second stanza, in that dead citadel of crumbling stone, her eyes were snared by that unholy sheen, and curious madness took me by the throat, as of a rival lover thrust between. Well, one, Robert E. Howard was just a better writer. Two, I always got the impression that the reason Belit went a bit mad wasn't so much because she was crazy. It was more that the city and the treasure she wanted to plunder were cursed. Now, she was stubborn, and she was hard-headed. Where is it? I think I actually have that paragraph up. My lover, I believe there is a city somewhere on that river. I have heard tales of giant towers and walls glimpsed afar off by sailors who dared to go partway up the river. We fear nothing. Conan let us go and sack that city. Conan agreed. He generally agreed to her plans. Hers was the mind that directed their raids, his the arm that carried out her ideas. It mattered little to him where they sailed or whom they fought, so long as they sailed and fought. He found the life good. Battle and raid had thinned their crew. Only about 80 spearmen remained, scarcely enough to work the long galley. But Belit would not take the time to make the long cruise southward to the island kingdoms, where she recruited her buccaneers. She was afire with eagerness for her latest venture. So the Tigress swung into the river mouth, the oarsmen pulling strongly as she breasted the broad current. Okay, so she is stubborn. She's also clearly intelligent, at least to a point, if she's their strategist. I'm not seeing that in this Belit. I'm sorry. I know this is going a long time, and I'm just, oh my god, I'm so mad. So, there's supposed to be this subplot, or plot, or I'm not even sure anymore, that Belit is going mad, which was very poorly foreshadowed in the last issue, sorry. And now we find out that Belit's mother, her body is strong, yes. Her mind, Niaga. For months now, her mind is full of storms. Vastia has been with child. Let your wife be stormy. You misunderstand. She wakes in the night and howls with madness. She wanders out to the beach and stares into the sea, out into the black horizon. She wakes in the morning and remembers none of it. I fear for her life. Okay. We'll get to that because it comes up a few times in the issue, and I have some issues with it. So, well, I mean, I guess it was implied in the last issue that Niaga was doing magic, which doesn't really make sense, because in the Conan stories, people who do magic are generally bad, with the exception of one witch in The Hour of the Dragon, who rescues Conan and helps him take back his kingdom. And in fact, she comes into the final battle with her giant wolf, and it's epic and badass, and it's really cool. But so I'm not sure why Niaga. Stupid phone. Okay, so I'm not sure why Niaga is doing magic. It does not make sense to me. It doesn't fit. Okay. So, yesterday I actually tweeted at Tinny Howard. I said, I'm getting ready to go pick up number 4, and I find myself wondering, have you read Queen of the Black Coast? Which maybe came off a little snippy. I mean, she ignored me. Which, I really wanted her to respond, because I really wanted to know what her answer would be. I've been going back and forth as I've been doing these videos, going, okay, has she read it? Has she not? I think she has. She probably read it once, and maybe went back for a few notes on names and such a couple times. But she read it once, probably not too thoroughly, but she hasn't read any of the other Conan books. I'm convinced she doesn't know anything about the Conan mythos beyond just some highlights. And, Crom, Mitra, Set. Okay. So, her mother finally walks away and walks into the ocean, never to be seen again, which... Okay, when this series is done, something I want to do is I want to go back and do I'm gonna review issue 5, and then I want to do a 6th video, just kind of shuffling scenes around and covering just how I think it could have been better. What would have made the series work for me. But the first thing is that this flashback from when Belit's a baby, it should have been the prologue of issue 1. The story would have worked so much better if they had started with this, and then you would have had actual foreshadowing. So, her mother committed suicide by walking into the ocean. Okay. I'm really hoping we get a little more explanation in issue 5, but I've talked about how this series has no time management. Tinny Howard just... She does... I don't think she knows how to balance for 5 issues. She doesn't know how to work everything into the space she has, and so there's these stops and bursts, and just... We should not be getting vital information to the story in issue 4 out of 5. So her mother died. He mourned her for a full fortnight in rage and drink and agony, and then never again. After that, I understood what your father feared. So, then we flash forward to Niaga telling Belit all this, and the conversation just does not make sense. I cannot... understand it to a point. The dialogue is poor, but, like, I understand the conversation. I just don't, it doesn't work. What did he fear? You may as well have dashed my tiny brains on the rocks if you thought I'd be such a menace. Belit, do not say such things. You were kin to me as true as any blood. He simply wanted me to protect you. Protect me from what? From whatever madness my mother suffered from? She died with her secrets. Oh, from myself? Ridiculous. And so then she accuses Niaga of trying to take the tigress from her, which I know it's been 4. Okay, so time management. Sorry, I'm not doing a very good job of it myself. I'm just so mad, and I'm so baffled at how bad this comic is. So, we don't actually get to see Belit and Niaga's reunion. We don't... There's no... We don't get to see that. He's in the woods at the end of issue 3, and now he's on the ship with Belit. That's kind of an important thing to show. You know, one thing... My mom and I love Downton Abbey, but one thing that really frustrated me in Downton Abbey, especially in the later scenes, was you would get to these points where there would finally be conversations of someone explaining what's been going on, but we wouldn't get to see the actual conversation. And it's, while we knew pretty much all the information that would be revealed in that scene, I would have liked to see how the characters handled it. Like, Lady Edith explaining to Violet that Marigold is her daughter. Or, I think that's the one. Anyway, there were just a lot of scenes where it would cut just as it's like, oh, you realize they're going to have this conversation. However, you knew all the information that would be conveyed in that scene, so I was disappointed, but I didn't feel like I was missing anything. With this, you jump from Niaga in the woods, flashback, he's on the ship, telling Belit the flashback. I need that reunion. I need him coming to the ship, and I want to know what was her response to seeing him, because here we suddenly get her all defensive. Look at that panel! That panel is awful! Oh my gosh. So she's getting all defensive, like, the tigress is mine, I'm not gonna give it to you, yada yada yada. I don't feel afraid. I feel powerful, like a woman who has dug her nails into the boards of her own birthright and climbed to the bow. I don't need to be cautioned away from my success. Ah! Ah! I'll bet my father just said that because he was scared I would grow up and take the ship from him myself. You twit! She's been an irresponsible brat this whole time, but you twit! I kept my eyes on you quietly so that you wouldn't get yourself killed, but sully your father's name like that again, imply he had anything but love for you in his heart, and I'll duel you like any man of honor. Thank you! Thank you! What am I even supposed to let you do? I won't give you my ship. Has there been any implication that he wants the ship? That's why it would have been nice to see how they reacted to being reunited, so we could actually see Belit's response, because it would have been a humanizing moment. This is a girl who killed her father. It was a mercy killing, but still, and we didn't get to see her respond to that. We haven't seen her deal with that. I'm trying to keep my laptop up because I've got... If you make it to the end of the video, I'll reward you, okay? And then... they're attacked by Stygians. And there's a sea battle. Yay! Sea battle. See? It's the whole thing. Start to finish. Sea battle. In one double-page spread. With 4 panels. Round them up. They are cowards. They will surrender before they die. Belit, what is to be done with the men? If they surrendered to us so readily, slay the dishonorable dogs. Moving on. So, she hauls the Stygian ship back to Stygia. I've been told I'm pronouncing it wrong. I don't know if it's supposed to be Stygia or Stygia. I'm saying Stygia, because I think it sounds better. So, she takes the eye of a sea monster she recently killed, and she tosses it. She tosses the eye of a sea monster at the Temple of Set to get the High Priest's attention. This is your plan for diplomacy with Stygia? To taunt them with the eyes of beasts and their own ships? I'm no ambassador, Niaga. I care nothing for the nation of Stygia. Well, I care nothing for you anymore, you twit. Hail, Stygia, a gift from Captain Belit. What a charming way to greet us! Okay, so the Stygian High Priest is flirting with her. Interesting. So she goes to his chambers, and they're talking, and flirting, and she knocks him out. Like, she gets him in a chokehold, and knocks him out. And at first I thought she'd killed him. I missed the little, And I'm like, wow, did she really just kill him? The funny thing is, when we find out he's alive, I'm like, wait, she didn't kill him? I mean, it's a bit of a catch-22, where, like, I'm horrified if she did kill him. Momentarily horrified. But then, I'm disappointed that she didn't. Like, I can't tell what kind of character you're trying to... So, she leaves, and she tries to run away. Niaga catches her. No, she's wearing another trash bag. Oh, by the way! Her date outfit is really sexy. I like that. We never really get a good picture of it, though, unfortunately. There's no puff sleeves. Yay, there's no puff sleeves. She knocked the guy out. How did she knock the guy out? She's like 110 pounds soaking wet. Okay, and Niaga convinces her not to run away. I'm leaving. Tell my men in the morning they are free to do as they please. Their captain has released them from service. How went your evening with the high priest? He spoke of his men like my father spoke of his debts, spending men's lives like coin. You were right. I was headed towards madness, but not my mother's madness, my father's. You are not like him. I'm having a really hard time telling where this story is supposed to go. And I'm sorry. I'm literally just... Wow! I cannot even comprehend how poorly told this story is, and I used to read fan fiction! So, she keeps saying, oh, would you have said that to my father? Would you have invited my father into your rooms? Yada yada. and you're not like him. And you were right, I am headed towards madness. Okay. Okay. I am headed toward... Okay, I was headed towards madness. I'm sorry, my dyslexia was acting up a bit. Okay, you have my attention again. If she says, I am heading towards madness, but not my mother's madness, my father's, you are not like him. Well, okay, there you lose me again. If this... So, is it foreshadowing her madness in Queen of the Black Coast? Is it... I'm so confused! Am I not? I will not have a crew anymore, Nyaga, nor some self-styled holy man for a lover. I am leaving this life. I shall disappear. You couldn't if you tried. You couldn't if you tried. Well, good luck sailing a galleon on your own, then. You weren't so good at it as a child, and you won't be now. Okay, I mean, it's true, but you are a fearsome one, but thanks be to the gods, there's only one of you. Okay, I had to clear out my phone memory, yada yada. This is why people use cameras to make YouTube videos. Okay, so I've had a chance to calm down. It's still hot. I'm still not happy. I'm melting. So, but I read over the last few pages again while I was waiting for my computer and my phone to talk. And I realized part of what's bothering me with this series is we have not had any internal monologue. Well, there was one scene, but for the most part, we haven't had any internal monologue from Belit. So, this scene, Nyaga is telling her, you have men willing to die for you, Belit. And no, you oughtn't spend their lives like coin, but it is a valuable thing indeed. To that high priest you may merely be a sea captain, but to those men you are their queen. ... Come, Nyaga. I have wished to leave this city before morning. Wake my crew. We don't even get a close-up of her face to see her expression. Like the panel before that, you see her looking down and clearly thinking. But we don't get a close-up of her face to show her expression. And it reminded me, when I was younger, I loved the Song of the Lioness Quartet series by Tamara Pierce. I can't stand her writing nowadays, but at the time I really liked it. And there's a scene where the main character, Alana, she tells her companion, servant, bodyguard, whatever. No, he's not her bodyguard. But anyway, she tells him, we're leaving. I'm done. I can't do this. And he says, oh, okay. I'll pack up. And he says something else. I haven't read the book in years. But she goes, I think he basically says, well, I didn't think you'd give up. She goes back to her room. She goes back and forth for a little bit. And then she comes back into his room and she says, I changed my mind. We're not going anywhere. And it's only after this, after she's gotten in bed and she's trying to fall asleep, that she realizes he didn't even pack. He knew she was going to change her mind. But the point is, there was a bit of a back and forth, and she had this... There was time for us to see what her thought process was, and how she was going through all this. And we don't get that with Belit, especially at a point where she's ready to run away, though I notice she doesn't have a pack. I'm not sure what exactly she plans to do. But she's running away, and Nyaga persuades her in a few words. And we don't get to see her thought process, and I would have really liked that. It's part of why I think I'm having such a hard time with her character is because I don't know her character. It's like watching a person, but you don't actually know what they're thinking. And the thing with main characters is we're supposed to know what they're thinking because we're supposed to be inside their heads. Even in a visual medium like a comic, this is why we have the benefit of thought bubbles and you still have internal monologue in comics, and I don't understand why she's not taking advantage of that. Stand soapbox. If you know what it is, you understand why. I'm not going to say anything about it. Except that it's right there, and it's bright yellow, and I hate it. Let's hope Mr. FedEx isn't coming for me. Because I don't want to answer the door. And the window's open, so it would be hard to avoid. So, later at the pleasure house of Luxor. Oh, the package is for me. I wonder what it is. Or it's for my mom. Anyway. So, go away. There we go. Okay, he's gone away. So, the high priest comes back too, and find me, Belit. He goes into the Temple of Set. For those of you who aren't up on your Conan mythos, maybe you haven't read it in a while, maybe you haven't read it or you don't know much about it, Set is a snake god. Okay? And I believe Stygia is based on Egypt. Just saying. Which, I mean, they've got that look down. So, he kills a snake to get Set to curse Belit. Don't Hindus worship cows? And, like, if you do anything to a cow, it's, like, bad. It's, like, I know they don't eat it, because I used to live in the Seattle area, where there was a Hindu temple right down the street from where I lived, and, like, they had a giant cow out front, and I worked in a pizza shop where we had to put a lid on the beef, the ground beef that we put on pizza, because you couldn't have any of it getting into anything, because the Hindus couldn't eat it. So, I got the impression that if anyone did anything to a cow, that would be bad, because it's a sacred animal. So, please, we beseech you, we invoke your rage. By the slaughter of one of your blessed children, turn your hunger for death upon her, upon Belit of Asgalon. This just doesn't work for me. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense from anything I understand about religion, basically, and cults. And so Belit is ordering her men around. Thank Niaga for your lives. It was by his word I went back for you. Now row like the sea burns behind you. Stroke! And then she starts coughing. And she sees her father's head with snake eyes and fangs, and she sees the priest. Huh? And she collapses Anachronisms. Anachronisms everywhere. So Nyaga's doing magic again, which I don't think he should be able to do. And the dark snake will eat your mind, slowly from now until the next full moon. Mortals cannot bear his mark, it drives them mad. I have failed you, Belit, I cannot break the curse, and it looks to drive you mad. So, let me get this straight. Belit is going mad. This is established. But is it her father's madness? Which I don't think was even madness. It was just he was a cruel Grand Admiral. Is it her mother's madness? Which could be interesting. It wouldn't be Belit, but it could be interesting. Or is it a curse from Set? Or is it going to be cursed gold in Queen of the Black Coast? It's so... I worry I have not been able to convey how bad it is just through my reading of it. That you're going to be going, okay, song, it sounds bad. I don't think this... I worry this video isn't even as entertaining as my last one, because, I mean, I like to think my rants are somewhat entertaining. It's why I keep doing them. I'm wilting. In the heat, I'm wilting. I don't know that this one is very entertaining, because I'm just baffled. Baffled by how bad this comic is. I don't have any notes, any profound notes on socialism and intellectual property this time. I'm stunned, and I'm still mad, and I'm still curious to see what the last issue will do, just because I'm a completionist, and I want to see this through to the end. So, if you're still here, thank you. I promised a reward for anyone who got through this. And I have a lovely palette cleanser in the form of a Robert E. Howard poem. Because you guys like it when I read stuff, right? The Road of Kings by Robert E. Howard. Gleaming shell of an outworn lie, fable of right divine. You gained your crowns by heritage, but blood was the price of mine. The throne that I won by blood and sweat, by crom I will not sell, for promises of valleys filled with gold, or threats of the halls of hell. When I was a fighting man, the kettle drums they beat. The people scattered gold dust before my horse's feet. But now I am a great king, the people hound my track, with poison in my wine cup, and daggers at my back. What do I know of cultured ways, the guilt, the craft, and the lie? I, who was born in a naked land, and bred in the open sky. The subtle tongue, the sophist guile, they fail when the broadswords sing. Run in and die, dogs. I was a man before I was a king. I've been rereading the Conan books, and I really just found myself loving that poem and Howard's writing as much as ever. Anyway, so one more issue. I'll do it. Maybe. Okay, I don't know if I have hope that it'll salvage. Maybe it'll be better than this one. I still can't believe that it includes the line, "I'm not kidding." Anyway, I'm sorry if this has been boring compared to my previous videos. Yeah. Anyway, if you would be so kind as to like the video and subscribe to my channel, I would be most grateful. If you could leave a comment down below telling me your thoughts on Conan, on Howard's writing, either Tinny Howard's awful writing or Robert E. Howard's amazing writing, let me know. And you can find me and my art on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Society6, Redbubble. I think that's it. And here on YouTube, obviously. Thank you for bearing with me and suffering with me. We'll see what comes next month.